Welcome back to Conversations with the Empress. I am the Empress, and as you can tell by my sexy attire, it's Freaking Friday, y'all, and a long awaited one. I've been on vacation, but y'all know how much I love a Freaky Friday. Before we get started, you guys know the routine. Please go hit that like, share, and subscribe below. They all help my channel to grow, and I greatly appreciate your support. I need your support. So please do your girl a favor and go hit that like, share, and subscribe right about now. And I'll wait, and I'll shimmy for you while I wait. Thank you. So, the fit for tonight is something white. Did y'all miss my corniness? You know, I cracked myself up. So the fit for tonight is something white. And you know, I just like this outfit because number one, I don't think I've ever worn white on Freaky Friday. And also it's very comfortable. It's very flattering. And honestly, whenever I wear something white and flowy, it definitely be putting me in my Marilyn Monroe vibes. Happy birthday, Mr. President. But you know, I like it. It's comfortable, it's flattering. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, okay? So tonight's show is going to be a little different. You know, y'all are used to my naughty, sexy, no holds barred sexual conversations that we have. Well, at least as no holds barred as we can get for YouTube. But tonight I want to talk about something a little bit more serious. So our subject for tonight is slut shaming. Now, this is something that I'm all too familiar with, more so than ever nowadays with the Freaky Friday shows, because I'm always dressed provocatively. I love that word, provocative. But basically what slut shaming is when you criticize or bash somebody that doesn't fall into the societal norm of expressing their sexuality, whether that be in dress, behavior, or speech. And you know, while anybody could be slut shamed, the people who bear the brunt of the slut shaming are normally young girls and women. Heterosexual men cannot be slut shamed because they are the perpetrators of the slut shame most of the time. That's not to say that women don't do it to women, parents don't do it to children and whatever, but 9 times out of 10 it's a man that is doing the slut shaming, a heterosexual man. Some of the reasons why people get slut shamed is because of how they dress, i.e. how they dress. People will judge you based on how you're dressed. They will have preconceived notions about you based on how you dress. And, you know, I'll also say another thing with that slut shaming thing is that a lot of times the way a woman dresses and presents herself is seen by men as something for them. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, fellas out there. Women dress for other women, okay? We dress to be like, oh, boo, your shoes is cute. Oh, where you get that bag? Or where you get that jacket or whatever. We dress for other women. And if we're not dressing for other women, we're 100% dressing for ourselves. Unless you have a girl, a woman in your life that says, baby, I bought this outfit for you to wear for you. Don't make the assumption that if a woman is dressed sexy, that she put that on to appease a man or to be eye candy for a man. Because, you know, I wear this lingerie every Friday, but I wear lingerie when I'm home by myself. I don't have a man, but I put lingerie on because it makes me feel good about myself. So, you know, to slut shame someone for what they're wearing is just as ridiculous as judging somebody for the color of their skin. It's just stupid. Another way women are slut shamed is by the use of birth control and the morning after pill. It ties into the fact that women are supposed to remain pure until they get married. And if you're getting birth control or a morning after pill, it's an admission of the fact that you're having sex, which is not a fucking crime. But according to society, if you're having premarital sex or sex not in a relationship, then that somehow makes you a slut. Whatever. Side note though, for all my ladies out there that are on man-made birth control, I don't use man-made birth control. I use this plant-based supplement called neem. 6 neem pills at one time is the same thing as a morning after pill without causing a trauma to your body. And if you want to use it as a regular contraceptive, it's 6 pills a day. So you take 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, 2 at night, or 6 at a time, whatever you want to do. But it's much better for you and not man-made. It's a plant-based pill. So all y'all ladies, I'll throw this up here for y'all right here so y'all can get off that man-made shit. Okay. Take care of that body, all right? Another way that women are slut-shamed is by how they move sexually. If you're out here having sex freely the way a man has sex, then people look at you like you're a slut. Even though there's no difference. People don't look at men having a whole bunch of sex as sluts, but they look at women as having a whole bunch of sex as slut. I feel like it's ridiculous. It's a double standard. Sex is sex, whether I'm doing it or a man is doing it. Another reason why women get slut shamed is if they are sexually open and sexually expressive verbally, either to say what it is they don't like, what they want, their fantasies or whatever. It's not appropriate according to society for a woman to express her sexuality and the things that she wants, i.e., so I guess people would look at me like I'm a slut or I'm fast or whatever because I'm on here talking about sex all the time and I'm very open about my sexuality. I don't feel like that makes you a slut. I feel like that makes you a person who knows themselves and knows their sexuality. And there's nothing wrong with that. It builds your confidence. And the last example that I want to talk about is victim blaming. I know you guys have heard this before. You hear a court case about a woman who was sexually assaulted or raped. And when she goes to court, the attorney tries to find all this dirt on her to make it seem like she was promiscuous or she was dressed like a slut that night, so she asked for it or whatever. That's a big part of slut shaming. Instead of just looking at her as a victim, you're looking for the reasons why. You're going to justify why a man raped her or assaulted her. It's ridiculous. And, it really teaches women to be ashamed when they're sexually assaulted and blame themselves. And at the end of the day, nobody deserves to be raped or sexually assaulted. For me, being a victim of rape, I blamed myself for many years. Once I got through that and I learned there was no excuse for anybody to rape anybody. It's never okay to sexually assault somebody. It's never okay to rape someone. And I don't care if a woman is walking down the street butt naked. That does not give you the right to touch her or take her. That's it. So, this whole word slut shaming is a relatively new term, but the practice has been called many things throughout the years and it's been here for centuries. I mean, I can think back to when I was a little girl, slut shaming happened very early in my life. And most of the time, it's not like a conscious thing that people do to their daughters. It's not a conscious thing that people do. It's just so ingrained into our society, just like racism, that people just do it and they're not even realizing that they're doing it. So, with being a little girl, we couldn't have skirts above the knee because that's provocative. Another example. This is a great example. When I was a little girl, I idolized my father. Okay. My father was the end all to be all. I wanted to be my father. Okay. And when my dad would come home from a long day of work, he would take his shirt off and walk around the house with no shirt on. And then I would do the same thing because I'm like, oh, I want to be like my dad. I wasn't thinking about, oh, I'm a girl and I have breasts or whatever because I didn't have them at the time. But then once I started developing, I wasn't allowed to take my shirt off and walk around the house like dad anymore. And he was able to continue to. Now, let me tell you the thing that I don't like about that. And I get it. We're in America. You can't just walk around topless because that's not the societal norm. But this is the facts about it, okay? These juicy things right here are mammary glands, okay? Men have mammary glands too. The only difference is women's are super active, which is why we have breasts. But the anatomy is the same. It's just that we're not allowed to walk around with our breasts out and men are, which I feel is a double standard. Now, the thing that I really don't like about that is that it teaches women, number one, to be ashamed of their bodies. Okay, and we should never be ashamed of our bodies. These bodies give life to earth. Okay, But it also teaches you to be ashamed of being nude. And that is just stupid to me because we all are born naked. We all see naked babies and say, "Oh, that's so cute. Look at little booty." We all do that shit. So it's okay for babies to be naked, but it's not okay for us to be naked. But you got to get naked to make one. Like, it's just all this cognitive dissonance and all these conflicts and all these contradictions in society. The whole topless thing, that's just a bone for me. Like, if I could walk around outside with my boobies hanging free, I would. Okay, I would. Because men get to do that shit all the time. You understand how liberating that would be for women to be able to do that too? Another slut shaming thing is that women are taught to remain virgins until they get married. Boys are encouraged to go out here and sow their oats and experience life in the world and as many women as possible, spread your seed and all that. This is the thing with that, right? We tell our daughters to stay virgins and then we tell our sons to go out here and procreate. Who do you think your son is procreating with? Somebody else's daughter that you done told to stay pure. And then when he starts procreating with that girl and that girl comes to the house, you going to tell that girl that she a slut because she's sleeping with your son. Do you see the conflict in that? Do you see how the woman cannot win in that situation at all? She can't win in that situation at all. And it's completely unfair. If you don't want your daughter out here having premarital sex, then tell your son you don't want him having premarital sex either. Stop with the double standards. It causes shame and it causes problems. Another double standard that I feel that ties into slut shaming is the use of profanity. Men largely are allowed to cuss, scream, yell, and act like full-on animals. Women are not supposed to do that. Okay? It's not appropriate for a woman to have a quote-unquote potty mouth or talk about sex or speak profanity. Why? I can't tell you how many times I've been at my job and I said the very same statement that a man made and it was frowned upon because I said it. But if I had a dick and balls and I said it, it wouldn't be a problem. Women are taught to, smile more. Why don't you smile? Ain't nobody walking around telling men to smile. Men walk around with their face looking regular. So why do women need to smile? Because we're supposed to appease men and please them and smile for them. You guys will be thinking about this shit on a deep level. People tell you smile more. For what? Who I got to smile for? You ain't tell Bobby, Joe, or Jim over there to smile. You letting them walk around with a frown on their face and they fine. So ain't no difference with a woman either. Don't tell women to smile more. It makes you sound like an asshole. So, I always have to relate my subjects to my personal experience, and I love to be vulnerable and naked with you guys, so to speak. Not the naked y'all probably like, but naked. I have always been that crazy, sexy, cool chick. You could watch the football game with me like I'm one of your homeboys. I actually know what's going on in the game. I'm not just a girl that's going to sit there and just keep you company while you're watching. I cuss. I'm very sexually progressive. I'm very open, but I also have those traditional things like I cook, I clean, I am the proverbial lady in the streets, freak in the sheets, all of those things. And that's what men claim they want. But 9 times out of 10, when men get with me, they say that that's what they want, but then it's not what they want. Or they say that's what they want, but then they can't handle it. Or they say that's what they want and they don't believe that that's what I am. They think I'm conning them or it's fake or whatever. It's not. This is genuinely who I am. But those same men will go out here and get the societal accepted woman to partner with because that's the woman that's accepted by society. She looks good on paper. She's submissive. She's this, she's that, or whatever. But then they still step out and come see me, or they still have fantasies about me, or still think about me. So my thing is like, men will say in one breath, I want a nice girl. I want a girl that hasn't been touched. I want a girl who's this and that or whatever. They'll say that's what they want. But then when they get that, they're not happy with that. Or when they get with somebody like me, they're not happy with me. What I'll say to all of that is that men, y'all can't have it both ways. You can't pick and choose when you want to have a demure conservative woman and then, you know, pick and choose when you want to have that crazy, sexy, cool girl. Because, you know, even my personal experience in relationships, I was in a relationship with somebody one time, me being me, very sexually progressive, kinky, into BDSM or whatever. And this person didn't want to do certain things with me because I was their girlfriend, but felt okay doing it with Jane, who they didn't know, because they didn't have an emotional connection. Like, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Because women are sexual creatures, like just like men are sexual creatures. We have sexual desires. A woman should not be penalized for having sexual desires and being able to express them, and for those desires to be, you know, unconventional. She shouldn't be penalized for that. She should be looked at like, wow, she's different. Like, let me, you know, see what's up with her. But there's this cognitive dissonance with this whole, what's that statement? This got to be the most slut-shaming statement of all time. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You hear that shit? First of all, hoes make the best housewives. Let the record show. But also, so now you're saying a woman, let's say a woman was a hoe. I hate the word hoe because I don't feel like people are hoes, but I'll talk about that later. Let's say a woman is a hoe. So now you're saying because she was a hoe, she could never get married. Nobody's ever going to want her. Do you hear how damning that is and how untrue that is? Because let's face it, if a guy is taking you out on a date and he's whining and dining you and buying you stuff before you fuck him, doesn't that make you a hoe? So that means we all hoes then. Because if you've been courted by a man, the man done shelled out money for you before he had sex with you, then you a hoe too. But what I'm saying is, like, how can you say that somebody's not worthy of marriage because of what they do sexually? They don't go together. They have nothing to do with one another. Who you had sex with before you met the person you're going to marry was before that you met them. If a man don't want to be judged by his past, you should not judge a woman by her past neither. That's all I'm saying. And hoes make the best housewives for argument's sake, okay? They do. They know how to please you sexually, but they also know how to make a house a home, okay? So God bless all the men out here that done turn their hoe into a housewife. Now, let's get to that word hoe, okay? I don't feel like anybody, man or woman, non-binary, whatever the fuck you identify as, I don't feel like anybody should be called a derogatory term based on how they move sexually. Your sexuality is yours. You own it. You do what you feel. As long as you're being safe and you're not hurting anybody, flexing your sexuality, okay? I don't think anybody is a hoe. Also, to add to that, fellas, if you out here calling a woman a hoe because she's having a lot of sex with a lot of different people, but you out here having a lot of sex with a lot of different people, guess what, bruh? You a hoe too, bruh. Okay? No, I don't know if anybody ever told you, but you a hoe too. So if you don't want nobody calling you a hoe for what you do sexually, then don't be calling a woman no hoe for what she do sexually, okay? Everybody has a body. Everybody has sexuality. And it is yours to own and express and move the way you see fit for yourself, okay? Regardless of what society says. Your body, your sexuality, you own it. You know, slut shaming further perpetuates the sexual repression of women. And I feel that the sexual repression of women is something that really holds us back because it kills our confidence in ourselves, you know, on so many levels. It just extends beyond sex, okay? So at the end of the day, what you eat ain't gonna make me shit, all right? So everybody mind your business, live your best life, and flex your sexuality the way you want to, okay? Hey yo, thanks for watching. My contact information is below. Please go like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Your support is always appreciated. But if you want to show that support with them dollars though, throw your girl a cash app, you feel me? Until we meet again, smooches.